This year, we had the opportunity to live in both Kuala Lumpur and Saigon, and we have lived in both of these cities 3 months each.
And in this video, we're gonna cover these two vibrant cities across 15 categories and see which city wins. So let's get straight into it.
For those who don't know us, we are Nabeel and Zenesta, and last year we quit our 6-figure jobs, packed up our lives in Australia, and now we are doing an adult gap year with our toddler. Our goal is simple: focus on creating a freedom-based business with the bonus of travel. In regards to visa requirement, we are Australian passport holders. So when we traveled to Malaysia, we had 90 days visa on arrival. We didn't have to pay any fees. For Vietnam, however, we had to pay a fee for the 90-day visa.
A quick tip: there are a lot of websites online that pretty much acts like middlemen and charges you more. So what we'll do is we'll link the official website of the Vietnamese immigration department so that you can actually pay the right amount.
So based on that, clearly Kuala Lumpur wins because we didn't have to pay any money. How much did we pay for Vietnam for 90 days?
242 Australian dollars for the three of us.
Yeah, so that's multiple entry. In Kuala Lumpur, the people are diverse. There are Malays, there are Indians, and there are also Chinese. And the people are very helpful and very accommodating. There is not a big expat community here in Kuala Lumpur, but then the locals like it better that way.
And in Saigon, the locals are very nice, but they are a little bit reserved. But there is a sizable expat community in Saigon, and they are very, very passionate about the city and quite helpful on Facebook groups. So for us, it's actually a tie.
English is widely spoken in Kuala Lumpur. We actually didn't have any problem to communicate with anyone because everyone knew how to speak in English.
In Saigon, English proficiency is quite limited. However, the younger generation can speak English. So that's the reason why overall communication was a bit challenging, but you can always get around it by using Google Translate.
So clearly in this category, Kuala Lumpur wins. In Kuala Lumpur, the weather is very predictable. It's hot and humid, and there will be rain at certain point of the time in the day. You can really plan your day accordingly. The pollution is low and you really can't feel it that much, so which is a thumbs up for us.
In Saigon, you got two seasons, the dry season and the wet season. We came during the dry season, and that's why the weather was pretty good for us. However, if it rains, certain areas of the city does get flooded, so that can become a bit challenging when navigating around sometimes.
But overall, if you look at all the points, I think I would feel very good living in Kuala Lumpur because of the predictability of weather. So Kuala Lumpur gets thumbs up for this one.
The food in Kuala Lumpur is just amazing. You can find all kinds of local food, both street food as well as high-end local food. And you've got so many options and variety for international food, which is just out of the world.
Now for Saigon, the food is really good. It is a very unique kind of food which we have never tried before. So we were very excited to try the different kinds of food. But I have to say, when we are staying here for a longer period of time, for 3 months, our food palette is a bit different from the Vietnamese food palette. So we did struggle a bit. Now, when we struggled, we opted for international cuisines, and we did find international cuisines all over Saigon, but it was a bit limited in comparison to what we have experienced in Kuala Lumpur. So it is completely based on our preference, nothing to do with anything else, because Hanoi is considered to be the best place to have food. Like, it's one of the rated best cities to have amazing food, but based on our preferences, unfortunately or fortunately, Kuala Lumpur takes our vote. Whether it's Kuala Lumpur or Saigon, we have felt throughout our whole travel journey. The past 3 months, wherever we were very comfortable and we were very protected and safe. So for us, really, both are a tie because we haven't
had any issues at all. Although I would say that in Saigon, because there are a lot of motorbikes around, if you ever have to cross the street, just keep an eye out. But yeah, if you do that, you'll be fine.
So it's a tie for both. Okay, for Kuala Lumpur, other than the peak traffic times, you wouldn't see that much of a traffic jam. The roads are really well planned. We really enjoyed traveling all throughout the city in Kuala Lumpur. What about Vietnam?
After traveling to Bangkok and Dhaka City, when we came to Saigon, we were a bit worried, right? Like,
yes.
You know, we've heard a lot of things about traffic being really bad here. But to be honest though, we didn't feel as bad, and that's probably because our expectation was sort of managed a little bit after those two cities. During peak hours, it does get quite busy. But overall, to be honest, we didn't think that it was that bad.
No, not at all. And also also I think we have learned how to travel around the peak hours, so we haven't experienced that much. And also when we came here in Saigon, we came around a period when they were having their Tet holiday, so everything was very mellow. There was not much of traffic, so we enjoyed that portion of our travel in early parts of January.
It's sort of same like, in Dhaka city when the city becomes empty during Eid.
Correct. We weren't surprised.
But overall, we have to say Kuala Lumpur has the edge because it's very well planned and not as much crazy traffic. For us, Kuala Lumpur wins.
Okay, now it's about public transportation.
So one of the previous videos that we did, we compared Kuala Lumpur with Bangkok. And when we talked about the public transportation between these two countries, our vote went to Bangkok, right?
Yes.
But unfortunately, a lot of Malaysians weren't that happy about it. They felt that the transportation in Malaysia and Kuala Lumpur was better. Now in this video, we're comparing Kuala Lumpur with Saigon. And unfortunately, the comparison isn't very fair because in Saigon, a lot of people still operate using private transportation.
Yes.
The public transportation is almost non-existent. Like we've seen a few electric buses come along, and I know that they're also working on a metro line, but when you compare it to Malaysia, it's really no comparison. So Malaysia, you win this point. In both Kuala Lumpur and Saigon, the most popular ride-sharing app is called Grab. However, the difference in Saigon is that just like Bangkok, they've also got the bike option, and they've also got a whole bunch of other local ride-sharing apps as well, which we've seen a lot of people use. The other thing we wanted to highlight in Saigon is that whether you're ordering a car or a bike, they come very fast. In fact, sometimes we struggle to get down from the lift and we have to tell them like, wait for me, don't leave.
Yes.
And that's because they're very smart. What they do is they know where the hotspots are, and they'll just stick around that area, and as soon as they get an order, they'll just come really quickly, right?
And it's not a one-time occurrence.
It just happens all the time.
Almost all the time, like the bike is there and we're just huffing and puffing and trying to reach our bike.
Exactly.
So it's very fast.
It's very fast. And the other thing that we remember when in Malaysia, we found the grabs there being so reasonable, but
It was reasonable, but it doesn't come on time. There's a bit of a lag in Malaysia in comparison to here in Saigon.
The other thing I wanted to say is that on top of the fast service, the prices here in Saigon is a lot cheaper than Malaysia. I didn't think that would be possible after using Grab in Malaysia everywhere. So for us, Saigon must win this point. Just like the previous point with ride-sharing apps, the delivery services here are equally as fast and equally more reasonable than Kuala Lumpur. So whether they've got a lot of options such as Gojek and Grab, and then a lot of local options as well. So for us, also in this category, Saigon wins over Kuala Lumpur.
Yeah, the other thing to point out that we found more options in Grab here in Saigon in comparison to in Kuala Lumpur.
Yeah,
we have lived in both area, the expat location. So it's not that I'm living in city in Kuala Lumpur and I'm living somewhere else in Saigon. We are living in expat locations in both of these cities.
Yeah,
and
they have so many, like just being reasonable. On top of that, they have like so many vouchers that you always get for food delivery, Grab, like delivery services.
You get quite a bit of a discount. So hands down, Saigon wins it here. Okay, let's talk about the shopping scene. Kuala Lumpur has multiple high-end shopping malls and there are a lot of local markets available here. Not only that, you can also come here and buy your tech items at a very low cost with almost no sales tax on it. I found Kuala Lumpur to be a place where I have stocked up all my items as I am doing this whole gap year, thinking that I will not have all these items that are available here in Kuala Lumpur in other countries in Southeast Asia.
And you're right.
Yeah, and it's right. You can't find all these places in countries here in Vietnam or other places.
Okay, in Saigon, especially in District 1 and District 2, you do have a lot of big shopping malls and you can get most of the things that you want, including the international brands.
But we are not buying all these luxury items anyways because we are doing a budget family travel. And in Kuala Lumpur, we have more things to buy relevant to our budget. We have seen also other traveling families who would actually go from different countries to Kuala Lumpur while they are traveling Southeast Asia to stock up on their necessary goods that they otherwise can't find elsewhere.
Exactly. So we just felt overall, even though we felt that in Saigon, the culture was more around going to local markets or even local supermarkets. That whole shopping scene, it's there, but I think it's still got a long way to go. So for us, I think Kuala Lumpur easily wins this one.
And the other thing I've noticed that when we were in Sydney in Australia, we had a lot of clothing items that were made in Vietnam. And we would assume that, oh, we're coming to Vietnam, maybe we can go get all these clothes cheaper in Vietnam. But in fact, they're not cheap in Vietnam. I personally found the H&M, Zara to be a bit expensive here in Vietnam in comparison to maybe in Malaysia. Now, I don't know why it is that way, but that's my observation. So if you know, do put that in the comment section. We found found Kuala Lumpur to be quite affordable. We wouldn't say that it is super cheap, but it was affordable and the value that we got for our money was just right. International cuisines and imported items are a bit on a higher end here in Kuala Lumpur, but then you do find other alternatives here too.
In Saigon, we felt that, it's so much value for money across the board, right? Again, like Kuala Lumpur, like if you get imported goods from places like Anam Gourmet, it is a little bit on the higher side, but overall, when you look at it, it is still quite affordable. I predict the way Saigon and Vietnam overall is progressing, I do not think it will stay, this affordable for very long. Just like we've seen with Bangkok and Thailand, I think that over the next few years, Vietnam will slowly start becoming a lot more pricier.
Yeah, Vietnam is like a hidden gem. It's the place like maybe what Bangkok was 10, 15 years ago is what Vietnam is now. And I think we've been traveling for 9 months now all throughout Southeast Asia. We found Vietnam to be the most affordable and extreme value for money in terms of cost of living.
Yeah, so for us, this one, Saigon wins hands down.
If you are a family, then hands down Kuala Lumpur is the place to be because this city is so family friendly. Their values matches with the family values, and that's one of the reasons why we chose to come to Malaysia first when we are starting this whole gap year adventure of ours.
And from KL, like it's so easy to travel within Malaysia or even internationally, and within Malaysia there's so many places to go, and actually within KL there's so many places to go and things to do as well. We felt Saigon has quite a nice variety, like for different kinds of people, whether you're a solo traveler or even like a couple or a family traveler, you have something for everyone. It's such a vibrant city. It's a very metropolitan city, and there are so many things to do. And it's a very nightlife city. I think there's a lot of places, especially in District 1, that really lives up during the night. For us, like it was very hard to compare. Like, we felt like both of these had really great options.
Both had things for us to look forward to. Yeah. So we really couldn't choose even if we tried. So we're going to give half points to both. So it's a tie for us. Traveling within the country for Kuala Lumpur, we were thoroughly impressed by the road network, the train network, and even the facilities in airports. Like there are private buses, there are trains, and there are a lot of frequent flights within different places here in Malaysia. So we thoroughly enjoyed it a lot.
In Saigon, we felt that the intercity road network and sleeper train options were great. However, we also flew domestically, and we felt that the domestic flights were quite expensive, like considering in Vietnam, right? Considering the distance as well, even also the service. Yeah, we didn't find the domestic flights value for money, to be very honest with you.
They've got a bit of space to improve there, but obviously like Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia takes it hands down. Okay, there is a method to this madness of this whole gap year thing. We are choosing all these cities or countries, and one of the factors is obviously our child, our daughter, 4-year-old. We want to go to places that is also accommodating for families, and both Kuala Lumpur and Saigon is a perfect place for families.
They put a lot of value on traditional family values, and you've also got a decent amount of expats here, which means that in those areas you got a lot of options for international schools and preschools, and we found that the options for both these cities were excellent, and our daughter thoroughly enjoyed going to preschools in both these cities.
So we have done preschool videos for both Malaysia and Kuala Lumpur and also for Vietnam in Saigon. We wanted to do these videos because there are families just like us who would want to relocate and doesn't know about, how preschool experience or how school would look like in all these Southeast Asian countries. So I'll link both of the videos over here. It's a very informative video. If you are someone who has a child and who wants to travel for a bit longer period of time, maybe for 3 months, 6 months, or maybe even for a year, those videos would be quite valuable for you to suss out which city you might want to come and do your long-term stay.
So for us, it's a tie. Both of these cities are very accommodating for families and the needs for kids, whether it's schools, whether it's kids activities, both indoor and outdoor. Both these cities have it also. It's a tie for us.
So do not worry, we have tallied up the points for you, and Nabeel, who is the winner?
The winner, Kuala Lumpur! So the thing is that it wasn't even close, to be very honest with you. But we feel that it was a little unfair on Saigon because the journey that both of these cities are going through is very different. Kuala Lumpur has been an established city, very modern city for a very long time, whereas Saigon has just sort of picked up over the last few years. We feel that Saigon is a great city and it's got a lot of potential in the future. We think that it's a hidden gem, but I do not think that it will be a hidden gem for very long.
Yes, and that's the reason why we did this comparison, is because Saigon is clearly heading in the right direction, and now it seems like a very affordable option. Maybe very soon, in a couple of years, it might not be one. It could reach in that level where it could become like Bangkok or Kuala Lumpur. We would urge people to come to Saigon and really experience it now while it is affordable, because it won't be that way. I can promise that.
So there you have it, our 15 points comparing these two amazing cities and two of our most favorite cities in Southeast Asia, Kuala Lumpur and Saigon. We hope you found it valuable, and if you're interested in visiting any of these two cities, you will definitely do visit both of them. We've also done a video comparing Kuala Lumpur and Bangkok. We will link it for you over here, and we hope that you go and watch that video now.
Please do subscribe to our channel, and we hope to see you in the next video. Till then, have a lovely day.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.